Hi, this is Dr. Otto Janke with Chiropractic Consulting. Through the wonders of technology, we have Dr. John Davila with us from Custom Chiro Solutions. Dr. Davila is going to be with us September 26th, which is a Saturday, at our event in Syracuse. Highly recommend you be there. I think Dr. Davila has taken something which is going to be a scary topic for the vast majority of people, and he's really cut it down to make it something simple to do. John, great to have you with us today.
Awesome to be here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to.
It's technology, man. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderful. So John, this is coming up on the 26th, is in 2 weeks, and a week after that is going to be Doomsday. The Death Star is going to be here, and the world's going to end because ICD-10 is going to crash and everybody's going to die, correct?
We should party like it's 1999.
That'd be kind of cool.
There you go. Let's think about that way. I mean, if you take it back to Y2K, who really believed that was taking, people bought water and a shelter and all kinds of weird stuff, but it's not that bad, and it's not that crazy if you know exactly what to do. So we've done a good job being prepared, and we're going to share some serious steps on how to be able to do it. Even if it is 4 or 5 days, I can still get you some understanding on exactly what you should be doing. That way you can be prepared, even if you wait till then. But hopefully, please don't wait till then.
So you've seen all the sites, you've seen the messages, you've seen the people who are expecting, and you and I talked about this before about having companies, insurance companies are willing to give you are willing to give us small interest loans in anticipation that the world will crash because of ICD-10. You've seen the messages, the Facebook posts. In your viewpoint, is it something we can get through and thrive through?
Yeah, I don't see it as an issue. I mean, listen, it's the companies have tested. Medicare has been testing for almost 2 years now. The claim form has been out since January of last year. In fact, most people don't realize the claim form that hosts these ICD-10 codes you've been using if you send electronic claims since January 2014.
Wow.
So I mean, if you've been sending out claims to your EMR system, they're already meant. This 5010 system is already meant to host the claim. So it's just a bunch of fear to get people to pay for stuff that they don't need, and I've read the same things too, and I don't buy it. So not personally.
Wow. I got to tell you that Custom Chiro Solutions, I think, has taken a unique point in compliance along with this, and that really allowing us to work in a subluxation-based arena.
Yeah, that's my goal. I really, not that I've seen doctors struggle with it because their EMR systems and the way they're taught to document in school are all pain-based, range of motion-based, pain-based. And to me, that just doesn't match, and it doesn't match the way I think. And that's the reason why even when we teach documentation courses, it's always about function, which is the reason why I love listening to you and Pete and Joe. When you guys talk about this stuff, it's always from a function-based. Let me get as much of a history as possible. I've run into so many consultants that are just like, I don't care about the history of what you have going on. I want to only talk about your subluxation, which then I have to go and convert a human being into a chiropractic patient, where it's easier for me to go ahead and do what you guys do and say, hey, listen, let me talk about everything that's going on with you and then how the subluxation relates to those things. So, cool. It makes a lot more sense to do it that way and to bring it all back to subluxation to start with. That way you can go ahead and do what you do, which to me means more than anything else. Because, I mean, it just, separate and distinct isn't just a saying. It truly is what we should be doing. So, anyway, either way.
That's actually cool. And I got to tell you, you've taken something which people are not looking forward to at all, and you've taken it and made it something simple. You follow the steps along the way. You can easily progress. And what were you saying about October 1st is going to be, there's going to be a 12-month window?
Yeah, there's a lot of I've seen some webinars about going to jail and issues, and I mean it's the same characters all the time talking about going to jail, and it just drives me crazy. I don't know why people listen to them. It's like fear mongers. The truth is that the AMA really pushed Medicare to push this back, and Medicare basically said, "Listen, we can't. We spent too much money on it. It's time to go." And yeah, it's time to go with it. So what they did was they offered them 4 points, and we'll go over this in a couple weeks in more detail. But one of the points, there's 2 points that are really important. The first point is that the first is going to be, October 1st is going to be like a soft opening. The claims are going to be required to have an ICD-10 code, but the important part is that the code doesn't have to be as specific or structurally correct, but not the most perfect code. And they're going to give you basically 12 months to be able to perfect the code. Cool. So that part about it, I mean, if you look at seriously, you pull the book out and you say, here's my book. I mean, how hard is it to go ahead and actually pick a code and say, okay, here's the code. This is the exact code I need to use right here. This code, use this code. If you use the code exactly as it says here with the 7th character all intact and it's from the right family, they're going to pay you. Whether or not it's the exact code that meets your documentation is a different question. But the code in and of itself is the issue. And most people are so worried about billing and everything else, it's crazy. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. Now, if you think about it, the part that most people don't realize is that ICD-10 is more like algebra. When you go back to high school algebra, the whole issue with algebra is I needed to make sure that when someone asked me the slope of a given line, I couldn't just answer minus 31. I actually had to give the work, because if I wrote minus 31, the teacher gave me 0 credit. Same thing in ICD-10. The codes are so much more specific. The issue isn't the code structure, putting it on the claim form. I can get anyone to do that. The issue that people don't understand is that you need to document to support the code because it's more specific. And that's the part most people don't do. And that's what we've really, really tried to get doctors to understand, because we've created a process where we'll show you how to be able to create a link, almost like a train. The engine, the cars, the caboose all need to leave the station together. Same thing here. We've created a process. And if you guys are listening to this and you want to write this down and you haven't quite prepared yourself yet, the true linkage is condition to test outcome to diagnosis. That's the new standard. So write that down. Condition, test outcome, and then diagnosis. You're going to have to give that as a block, as a macro, and say, this is what I've got, because that's how you prove ICD-10. And that's the part where we really help doctors to focus more on the subluxation side of things and get the secondary diagnosis code as a simple button, as we'll say, in their EMR system. So that's what we tried to do.
I think one of the neat things, John, is I'm a ChiroTouch guy, and you've made up macros for that to take it from a pain-based to a function-based, and all the ICD-10 along with that, and make it simple for even a guy like me.
Yeah, well, listen, the reason why most people didn't like EHR systems when they first started with them is because it didn't match the way they think. I mean, if it doesn't match the way you think, you're in there, you're in button purgatory. You're hitting buttons. You're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. So what we've done, I mean, if you think about remember when iPhones were only with AT&T, there was this thing you could jailbreak an iPhone. That's basically what we've done in your situation for ChiroTouch. Is we've actually jailbroken ChiroTouch to change the kiosk so when the patient walks in, they're asked functional questions. Because the worst thing we want is to hammer home education, and then the day when they come in and they hit the screen, it's okay, how's your pain today?
But I'm a ChiroTouch guy, but you do work with other systems, correct?
Yeah, we work with 14 different systems, but that's one of the ones that we like to work with, because it gives the patient the ability to answer functionally what's going on with them, and that cuts down your daily note time, because that actually enters as the subjective. So now the patient's subjective comes directly from them, which makes life easy. But that's a decent system, yeah.
Awesome, love that. In Custom Chiro Solutions, you really take that, and you've been doing this for years, correct, John?
Yeah, for years. Yeah, it's 2000.
And you've taken that, and again, you've taken something that people are not looking forward to. I've seen the Facebook pages, and people are thinking that the jumping off the ledge is going to be the best choice.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, if you think about, Y2K or HIPAA for that reason, I mean, none of the stuff was that bad. And, you mentioned about small business loans. I mean, one of the points that we'll talk about up in Syracuse is the letter from AMA to CMS, or the joint release, was that they'll even give you the ability to get paid. If you can't get it correct, they created a position of an ombudsman at each regional office to be able to tell you exactly how to be able to make it work. And if you still can't get it to work, they'll actually offer to prepay you for the service even before the claim is approved, in case you can't get it right. So, I mean, everyone understands what's going on. I I think if you told me this was the case last year and they didn't delay it, I might be a little bit more worried. But it's been a year of them testing and testing and testing, and I just don't see it as a big worry. Now, does that mean that they can't audit you? The answer is no. The audit is all about medical necessity. So we'll talk about where that comes into play. That's a different story. Because, I mean, if you look at Palmetto GBA's last review from this quarter, 62% of the claims that they reviewed post-payment could have been denied, which means that they don't even need ICD-10. You know, they don't need ICD-10.
They've never needed
No, they don't need ICD-10. ICD-10, we'll give you a year. Who cares? So, I mean, we'll talk about how to avoid this because really it's about your profile. It's like, what do you look like to the insurance company that says, hey, I'm over here, come get me?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. John, I appreciate your time, and we're going to be seeing you on September 26th up in Syracuse. I'm going to leave 2 links right down there. One's going to be for the Chiro Passion event. It's going to be in Syracuse the 25th and 26th, a couple of weeks, and one for Custom Chiro Solutions. John, I appreciate your time. I think you've really taken something that, like we've said, that people are really going to be jumping off the ledge about, and you've taken them, give them a deep breath, and they go like, wow, this is going to be something simple to actually work with.
And the part of it is also this. I mean, the clients I work with are subluxation-based, wellness-based, trying to be high volume, trying to treat as many people as possible. And someone needs to work with those people to say, hey, listen, you don't need to jump off the deep end. It's okay. You know, continue with what you're doing. We want you to be able to see the volume and still be compliant, which I believe can be done, which I actually know it can be done or is being done now for our clients. So, I mean, that's the one thing that people I want them to see in this. It isn't this to me. This my purpose in life and my goal in life is to get people to practice without fear, and I see that all the time, and that's the reason why. You know, when we teach it, we go from that perspective of empowerment. Like, how do you do this so you can tell everyone to take a long walk off a short pier? You know what I mean? That's really what we want to be able to do. Listen, here's your profile, here's your documentation, here's your fee schedule, is how you give compliant discounts, how you do everything. And I know I'm watertight. I know I've got what we like to call audit-proof income, so you can go away. And that's really what we try and help build doctors' practices in this model of, audit-proof income. So high volume, wellness, subluxation based, even spinal correction if that's the case, ideal functional wellness if that's the case from Strang, whatever it is, that's really what we're trying to get people to, because as you know, I speak everywhere, and what I like about your events is that I don't have the doubters. I don't have the I hate this thing. And when I'm at conventions, that's all I run into. I'm like, oh God, please get me someplace away from these people. But your doctors are successful because you're taking information that you and Pete and Joe teach, and it's always function-based. It's always factual. It's always research-based. It doesn't have to be rah-rah. It doesn't have to be Socratic. It could be, listen, here are the facts.
It's facts, man.
Here are the facts. Do it. And if you're already doing that, the connection between that to what we do is so simple. It's so simple. If you already do everything you're supposed to do, just move forward to that. The game's easy, and that's the reason why I like working with Joe and you guys. It's because it just matches, and everything that you're asked to do, from intake to everything to daily notes to what you're managing on a daily basis with the patient, truly is function based. All because the subluxation causes a decrease in function. I mean, absolutely. That's the definition of Medicare medical necessity. Right. I mean, you guys are teaching it now, and people are so worried about nothing. It makes me crazy. Anyway,
I love that, because we're actually you can stay in the subluxation based model.
Yes.
As if there was another model, but
yes.
You can stay in the subluxation based model and progress with this, and not have to compromise anything you do. And we absolutely love that.
Be compliant. Cool. Be totally compliant and be subluxation based.
Gotta love that, man. Yep. Hey, John, we're going to see you in 2 weeks
up
in Syracuse, and next time you're going to hang around, we're going on a wine tour.
All right, sweet. I'm all about it.
This is Dr. Otto Janke.
Is going to drive me crazy, so I got to get back home to finish up some work.
Awesome, man. John, we appreciate your time today.
Thanks. Take care.
We'll see you in 2